Oh, spring's coming. Spring is coming. All right, we're going down. That's what she said. Oh, spring is here, fellas. Spring has sprung. Today being the first day of spring. The locusts are up. You guys ready? Let's go back in time a little bit. This one was always fun. Here we go.
Sir Jeremy, you are a true friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Madam Susan, you are an even truer friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly!
What is that?
This is a spiced honey mead wine that I have really been into lately.
Oh boy. I don't know.
So bad.
Oh.
Dilly dilly. Right?
She's hot.
Please follow Sir Brad. He's going to give you a private tour of the pit of misery.
I'm sorry, what? Pit of misery! Dilly dilly! Dilly dilly!
Dilly dilly! Dilly dilly! What are you guys doing? Where is everybody? What's everybody doing? See, Ken's here. Hey, Ken. And what's this? At Handyman's SRVs. Would like to add a wheelchair lift. I was like, huh? Dilly dilly! Papa 68. He says, 2 Saturday nights in a row. I know, right? I'm trying, fellas. I'm trying. I was really busy again today. Once again, I'll tell you, no warning message. No, I didn't do a warning message. You know what? We should always put the warning message. Thanks, Ken, because of the things that we talk about, particularly me, because, you know, I don't know. I have to self-censor sometimes because I'm just out of control, right? I think most people would just want me locked in a cage somewhere. You go visit Arch, right? Like in the zoo, right? Like, what are you guys doing today? Let's go visit Arch. I think he's in the zoo today.
Warning. Arch's Garage Live is not suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
That's better, right? I feel better now, right? Because it's not that it's safer after that. It's just that it's more sensible. Because if somebody's always complaining, Arch, you said this, and then you did that, and I don't know. Somebody's always got something to say. Let me untangle this a little bit. Yeah, so I was busy today. I've been sick all week. And let's see, my ex-wife got it, gave it to me. I gave it to my daughter. My brother just called me. He's on his way to the VA hospital. He's down in North Carolina. He got it from his daughter. Now, he's got it, so he's going there to get whatever meds, because that's, you know, because that's where you go when you're a vet. You got to go to the VA because it's the only ones that you're going to get away without paying, you know, a lung. So he doesn't have to pay for it. Then you give him some Tamiflu or something like that. It takes like a week, at least a week to get rid of it. Because I've had it on and off. And then I'll go and I'll work. Like last Sunday, it was lousy out. And I went and did some stuff on my ex's car. And it was just so lousy out. I mean, it got so bad at one point. I mean, it was nice to be outside, even though it was lousy out, but it was so bad that I really couldn't do anything. I had to walk around with at least a tissue or something in my hand because my nose was just running like a faucet. And I'm hacking up all this nonsense, and I was sneezing like crazy. And then, like little by little, like it just comes out of you. And so like they're down there in North Carolina, same thing. There's so many people who are going to have it. It's just the end of the year. The weather's changing back and forth. It's like an effing yo-yo. I mean, they had all kinds of snow out on the other side of the country. Thank God we didn't get that. We got a lot of water, a lot of rain, more cold. Not too bad, though. Right? Just what are you going to do? It's a change of season. Your body's got to get ready for it. And then, you got to thin up your blood, right? Because now you might be a little cold on some of the, I don't know, I don't think it's really all that cold, but, then when the heat starts coming before your blood thins out, you're going to be like, oh my God, it's so hot. That's when I'm going to shave. I'm going to just shave everything. Just get rid of it. I thinned this out a little bit, but I think I'm just going to zip. As soon as I get that day where it's hot and sticky, it's humid, and you're leaning over and the hair's in your eyes, it's in your face, you're getting hot, the back of your neck's getting hot, and you're like, all right, enough. I've had enough of this crap. I'm too old for this shit. Let's see what Tandyman says. He goes, he's laughing his ass. No warning message. Kansas, it says, not suitable for immature adults. Well, I'm an immature adult. E&A handyman. Oh, okay, E&A handyman. That makes more sense. I can't I'll tell you, Manscaped. And I need the full Manscaped. Like, I need the whole, massage and defoliating, de-hairing, de-whatever. I need the full body waxing this time, I need the back of my back hair, even my hair on my knuckles. I need everything done. I'm tired of wearing the hair suit. Because that sucks because it's Long Island, weather when it gets hot and humid. It's like, you don't want a hair suit on you, got to get rid of that. Yeah, the happy end. Yeah, I need that, the whole full thing. Yeah, there was another place out here on Long Island that just got, I don't know if it was in this county, the next county. Oh, there's Mike. Big Mike's is up. He goes, wax me off, please. Right? I forget, Mike, did you hear about that place? Another one of those happy ending massage parlors that got routed by the police? Why do they have to do that? Is it because there was one right across the street from right not far from me is where Elizabeth lives. And she said, this was a couple of years ago, and I was sitting out on the porch with her one day. She goes, yeah, they just raided that place again. What do you mean again? Right? Because why? What are they doing wrong? Are they not able to perform, right, the required anointment of oneself? Why would you raid a place like that? I could see if it's next to a school. It's in a business district, I know it's not legal, but there's worse things, right? I mean, I don't really agree with it, but there's worse things, He goes, everyone's got to make a living. Yeah, it's so true, right? I could not make a living doing that. It's just no way. I got to give them a lot of credit. Because somebody would come along and some chick, some Lonely Hearts Club chick would come along and she'd want something at it. And I'd be like, nah. And you can't say no, right? I mean, you really can't. You have to say yes. And not only do you have to say, maybe that's why they got raided. Because they started saying no, they weren't able to, I was going to use the word pull off, but that's not the right word either. I can't find the right words. I can't disguise what I really want to say. It's hot in here. Speaking of getting hot in here, I washed my blankie, all my blankies today. My feet are a little cold. It's warm right here because we had the doors open and everything today. So it was getting hot in here. This heater needs to be turned down now. It's not 7 degrees outside anymore or 20 degrees. I have to turn it down. I just saw a little glitch. I have to check all the cables and everything again. There's always something wrong. There's always something. I mean, the computer's been working pretty good. Knock on wood. But can you guys do that? Right? Can you scratch your balls and your belly at the same time? Yeah, see, I'm making it. Wait, am I making it? It is glitching a little bit. What do you want? I'm not getting up. Every now and then, I put my boots on the radiator over here, and like an idiot, I sort of lay them on the radiator, And they're right next to all the cords to the back of the computer. I can't tell you how many times recently I go to grab a boot to put it on in the morning, and I yank out the power plug on the back of the computer, and it goes cold, hard, hot, off, which is just not good. I'm like, oh, crap. Because they knock into it. They're not in there all that tight. Tomorrow I'm going to clean up a little bit. Mike! Let me show you. So one of the things, we'll get to my ex-wife's car. I think it's fixed. She brought it over to the Hyundai mechanic that she's known for a long time. My daughter and her both have Hyundais. I'll tell you in a little bit. But I couldn't fix it. There's a couple of things that I needed and some tools that I needed. And it was getting late. And I said to her, you better bring it over to him because he's going to be around. So, bring it over to him because I don't want to hold you up. Because she needs a car back. He's like, yeah, bring it over. Don't frustrate yourself. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to show Mike. So I didn't get much done this week, although I did a few things. I wanted to finish up Mike's tractor trailer snowblower. And I didn't get to it, but I did a couple of little things. I tried to straighten up in here a little bit. I did work on my other channel and this channel, so I got some videos out. But I do want to show Mike some stuff. Let me see what you guys are doing. Not suitable for mature adults. Manscaping, yes. Happy ending. Papa says, what did you clean up and make look nice this week, Archie? Yeah, I'll show you right now. Right? Jamie says, hey, Jamie says, please smash the like. Oh, yeah. Slash the like button. Let me open up this. Well, I didn't reboot the computer, so it's been on all day, and I've been surfing for car parts and listening to stuff. And I only caught a little bit of Ken's show towards the end because I was outside. We'll get to that. But yeah, Big Mike. Let's see. I want right monitor. And I want to make sure the audio is on. I'm going to just breeze through some of it because some of it's welding, which was fun. But yeah, look. Hey, Brett. All right, I'm ready to put this back on. So you see this guy here, right? That plate. Make sure it's up. And look, it's missing over here, but look where the sticker is. Yeah. All right. So this is the plate. It's just a reinforcement plate. I got to zip this back on with some weld, but let me see if I can take that sticker off. See, look, we got to go down there, see? So, yeah, right on the sticker. So what I can do is maybe take the sticker off. Let's find out. If not, it's got to come off anyway. Yeah, I can't weld through sticker. Where's my mouse? Oh, wait, this has to do with, look. What I think about it. So, on the lady's we'll go to the next one. This is from my lady's truck there, right? I think it's crap. Yeah, that's more like it. So that's just oil and water brake fluid. So this is brake fluid. So Hyundai, 2012 Hyundai Santa Fe. But I do this on all my vehicles. It was low on brake fluid. I don't know if the mechanic did this or I don't know, why would it be low? I don't see any leaks. But because it was low, rather than just add, I like to suck it out. Get that clean in there if you can get in there. That's what she said. Just suck it out and then refill it with fresh. And I do that like once a year to all of my vehicles. And like I haven't really done it on this one because it's not really mine, but But yeah, there's always junk. And look at how dark it is. So it's just garbage. And if you do that regularly, you'd be surprised. You can keep your brake system pretty clean. A lot of water gets in. Crap, rust, garbage. Yeah. It's hydroscopic. Or is it hydrophilic? I don't know. We'll look it up. I don't know. Somebody look it up. I forget. It's probably both, right? But yeah, you could keep it clean. That's some condensation. That's because brake fluid is designed to absorb some of the water. And it's so that you don't develop gas pockets, which gas is compressible. Gaseous, air, gaseous, whatever. Yeah, let me just come back real quick to explain myself. Instead of talking into a picture of gross fluid. Gaseous anything. We're going to see more gaseous stuff. Don't worry, it's not me in a minute. But yeah, it's designed to do that. And so that will rot the inside of your brake system. And it just turns it to gack. And instead of a boiling point of, I don't know, what is it, 400 or 500 degrees? I forget, was it .3, .4? Depends. It will now have a much lower boiling point, and you'll get brake fade, especially when your brakes get hot. Like especially if you live in a hilly area, and you'll have more maintenance issues. You ride out your lines. That happened to me. I almost hit the mailman, killed him. Yeah. I was waiting for a package, or to give him a package or something, and I just missed the front door delivery or pickup or whatever. And I look and I go, oh shit, he's up the block talking to somebody. So I get in my van, right, and I go barreling down the street, blow through the stop sign, and I go to hit my brake, right, and it blew the front line. And this is like when I first got the van, like not that long after. And then they're all standing in the street. I'm like, no! I slam on like the emergency brake, and I'm pumping the brakes, and I kind of like pull over to the side, and I manage to stop it and get out. And they must have seen, because they looked at my face like in the van, right? And I'm like, oh! Get out. I'm like, oh, do you have that thing? He's like, yeah, or whatever. I had to give it to him. I forget. And then I kind of like backed it around, turned around very carefully, pulled it in the driveway. I'm like, great, more work. So this is the kind of thing that, like a public service announcement, right? I just sucked it out with my suction tool. It was low. It was quite low. And like I said to her, I said, rather than just, put good brake fluid over bad, this is something I like to do. And like my van is pretty clean. Unfortunately, when it comes to brake jobs and other jobs that we were referring to earlier, it's the usual. Anybody that's ever done a brake job knows, like, if you're having a leaky wheel cylinder or caliper and or line brakes, let's say the line breaks and you're like, oh crap, I got to bleed this thing. What's the first thing that happens? Let's go check the bleeders on the calipers or on the wheel cylinder. Oh, look, I broke another one. That one's no good. That one, oh, I think I got it. Nope, snapped in my hand, right? I can't help you with that. Okay, I can't help you with that. There's ways to fix that. Lots of ways. And then there's ways to just replace it. Let's get back to what we were doing. Hold up. I don't know what to say. It's crazy. It just sucks. But anyway, getting back to the matter at hand. Yeah, here we go. So I always start 53 off... amps. About 50 amps because it is dissimilar metals. It's not dissimilar sizes. So I always start off with, even if I don't use this footage, I always start off with reminding myself of what I set things to. Just so I know. There's always extra footage. All right, let's see. So I made a few changes to it, trying to get comfortable. I got everything cleaned up. Oh, isn't that pretty? Or this camera does not do a good job, though. It was the cheaper camera. It wasn't this one. Yep. You see all that smoke? Because I didn't clean it good. I'm like, let's see how little cleaning I can get away with. That one worked out good. It. No filler rod. I love that. Yeah, let me turn. I want a little bit more light because I can't see my start. Yeah. But that's it. All right, that's good. Hold on. Let's do the next one. And this one, it was way too much gas coming out. You see all of that? Turn it down a little bit. It's too much. And you'll see more. Because I didn't clean it. Probably more of a gap, and I think it burned through a little bit. That's too much. The first one worked. Which is why with TIG, you really need things clean. Because it shits up the weld. Bring it down to 40. I dropped the amperage down a little bit. And just a tiny a drop or two here and there of filler material. And then just roll it around. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. And just let the heat do the job. Although, you see all that gas coming out? That'll make the weld porous. Right? That's porosity. And unfortunately, fellas, hold on, let me turn it down a little bit. I didn't clean the yeah, hold on, I didn't clean it. Side of that. Sorry for the lousy camera work. I had the wrong lens on. Again. But yeah, let me just quick grind that up, clean it up. So the one on the top, really good. The one on the top is just fusion, no filler. And the one on the bottom, I had to, put a little drops of weld. But again, this was the bigger lens, and I was too close, so I apologize. This is it cleaned up, though. Yeah, that's good. You use like no rod. Flare. That's nice. All right, so the top one, I didn't use any filler, but the other one had too much gas. You might see it so okay here, but yeah, it won't focus. It's too close. Through the weld from behind. Darn it. Yeah, anyway, now you can see it a little bit. Hold on. Put the sticker back. So, yeah, let me just throw a little paint on it. There's the underside. That's nice. Oh, yeah, that's good. Look at that.
That's nice.
Coming back. I'm trying to hit the pause
that's not
button.
Go anywhere, and I didn't screw.
Yeah, that's better. Let's turn this down. All right, nice, clean.
Up. Look at that. That's nice. Paint on it. Stand by.
Yeah, you can kind of see it
Put
there.
the sticker back.
And here we go.
All right, I'm gonna try to hold the camera back a little further because this lens is too big for this camera. But yeah, that's nice. See the stickers on?
Yeah, you need the sticker.
Right.
That's all your
And
info.
that's the way they had it. I'm looking at my picture. Can I grab it? Yeah, I can grab it from this way. Quick dry, black.
I need more.
And yeah, you can't tell.
Isn't that pretty?
Looks good. And then here, I'll put it on tomorrow.
Yeah, I ran out of
It's getting
time.
late now because I had to work on the car today, the lady's car. So, yeah, that's good. Done. Next.
It's always something. All right, next. Is there anything next? Yeah, it's just a snapshot of it. Isn't she pretty? That's nice for a machine. This thing's like 25 years old? Let's see. Big Mike goes, he goes, nice. And my brother David says his head really hurts. Well, they need to check that, and they need to watch his blood pressure. Hold on, let me come back. I'll try to get to me. Yeah, they need to watch his blood pressure. Yeah, wax mule, please. Everyone's got to make a living. Is that from conversation? Nice. Yeah. So I'm caught up with Big Mike. David says, he goes, yeah. He goes, here inside, swab my nostrils. BP 176/98. Yeah, too high. Yeah. And let me tell him feel better. But yes. I mean, even like basic colds, or I think they said that his daughter, she tested positive for CVID, but that doesn't mean anything at this point in time. Which one? Which mutation, right? Which current variant is there? It's all the same thing. It's all flu and colds. And, well, initially it was really bad because it was a biotoxin. It was a bioweapon. Yeah, hello. So, but now, I don't know, thank God, most of us managed to survive it. Not all of us, sadly. But most of us manage to survive it. But you should still check with your doctor to make sure that you're not about to explode. Again, especially when you're getting old, if you're on blood pressure medication or heart medication or whatever it is, you should check. But no, I just wrote it out. Sitting here, sneezing, hacking, coughing, blowing snot. I grabbed a roll of toilet paper, and this one, I had to grab another one. I'm like just throwing tissues everywhere. I'm like, next, and I got the big honker, so I could only do, a few things here and there. And then eventually it would stop for a little while and I would go bundle up with the cats. So the cats got snippy. Yep. They got, they didn't have their testicles removed. No, they do like a vasectomy. So they were walking around with these things around their neck. One of them was an avocado. So I called him eggplant. And the other one was a piece of toast, like with his head in the middle. So they're both black cats walking around, and they were moping, so they're off now. I think the older one managed to get it off a little earlier, and I'm like, all right, that's enough, and he's done. And then I went and found the other one a little bit later, and I just took it right off his head. So they'll be happier. They're mostly in the back room with the window open. They've been loving that all day. They're all piled together. But when the boys came back, the girls, as I had to remind my family of females, they were hissing at him. So the thing is, I taught everybody, I learned this from Mama Cat, right? So when she's pissy at her family, she just lifts up a paw and hisses, right? Looks them straight in the eye and makes the hissing sound, which I can't make. So I told the girls, I said, when you want to argue, if you don't like something, just bring your hand up, bring your paw up and hiss. Right? And then when they do something wrong, right, just walk up to them and do the same thing. So one day, I think it was my ex-wife when I was explaining this to her. So one of the cats was doing something that we didn't want them to do. And so I just walked up to them, got their attention, raised my arm up and hissed at them. Oh, it took off like you wouldn't believe. Just ran right away, right? Shut that down. So the ladies were getting a little, right, with us. And so I, having to start trouble, reminded them, I'm like, yeah, that's what you ladies do, just like Mama and Missy do to the boys. That is so typical of you females. Doesn't matter whether you're cats or whatever. Same crap. They can't disagree with me. Although, that does remove some points. So to work back a few points from all of that today, get to the 2012 Nissan. You know, you can't fix these things. Anyway, my ex, so she dropped it off. Now she's been working in the automotive field for years, and she still does. She works for basically like Odessa and stuff. But now the company that she's with, instead of selling cars, they're repossessing them. Business is good. Jeez, a crazy world. So she's known a lot of the mechanics. This guy worked for Hyundai. Veronica did work for Hyundai at one point. He still does, but he's got like a 2-car garage. He's got a side business, and he knows Hyundais. I went through everything. I even tried replacing the brake light switch. She had no brake lights. I already replaced some of the bulbs, and then last year I replaced, hey, Fun Seeker, hey, TJM. TJ goes, I'm here. Yeah, I have stuff for you, TJ. We'll get to that. TJ, we'll get to you in a minute. And I'm like, all right, I checked all the fuses. I even replaced the brake lights. Well, we didn't replace it. What I did was I said, go get another one, because there's 4 wires there. There's power on them. I think it's okay, but turns out one of them, as I was testing it, one of the wires goes back to this, and I'm not sure what the name is. It goes back to a body control module. But sometimes they call it a stop signal electronic module. And sometimes they call it a smart junction box, or SJB. Or sometimes they call it an instrument panel module. But I think really the name is, it's a body control module. Is what a lot of them are. And some of them are more sophisticated than others. Some are simpler than others. And it's back behind in the dash somewhere. And trying to find out where it was, there was nothing on YouTube. It would say it's either here, or it's there, or it's over there. And you may have to take off all the fascia panels and everything, or even maybe the fuse panel. There's 2 of them. The one inside the car, it might be behind that. And here's all the bolts, and you can go searching around. I'm like, oh my God, right? Then I'm like, well, how much is it? And the dealerships have it, but they don't even list it probably, because we can't get all that information. So I can't get any information on this thing. Not anything accurate. Where is it? No accurate information. No YouTube videos. They just kind of want to show you the brake light switch and the fuses, because it's mostly backyard people like me, or worse, trying to show you, oh, I made a video. I found a bad fuse. No. So I replaced the rear tail light a while back because it had water in it. And there was that whole story going around about that guy with the Ford truck that cost him like $5,000 because it blew out. The water in the taillight caused a short, which burned out the body control module and a bunch of other things. And by the time they got done fixing it, it was like $7,000 or whatever. So I don't want to tell her this, but I kind of like alluded to it. I'm like, I can't validate it. First of all, I don't even know what it's really called. And I don't know where it is. It's not the brake light switch, because she went and got another one. It's like $30-$40. And I think she can return it. I asked the guy. And I disconnected the wire, and I plugged it into the new switch, and then I pushed a button in, and I went to look to see, right? So you could hear the unlock in the console for the shift lever, okay? Because you need to have your foot down. So the brake light switches now, they do both. I think it's the same thing on my van. When you turn ignition on, and you have to put your foot down on the brake, that sends a signal to the body module, which then sends a signal to the solenoid, which unlocks either your steering column or your floor shifter so you can put it in gear. That was working. So I said, well, I'm not just jumping this stuff out. There's power at the switch. She says, could it be a short? I said, yeah, it could be a short. Because she's been around me forever, right? Hold on, somebody's digging me. Is that Big Mike? I think you guys, great. Oh, Mike, what does Mike say? He goes, I like directions from China. It's like directions from China, yeah. Stick pictures, yeah. And with stick words, right? Weird shapes. What's that shape? It's crazy. So going through it, it was getting late, and I'm like, call him. And he's like, yeah, don't get yourself crazy. Just drop it off. I don't know how much he's going to charge. I think they're going to go pick it up in a little while. Yeah, because he could drop it off right away, and they're going to go pick it up in a little while. He just had to go out somewhere because he's divorced and he's got kids, and he's a busy guy. And he doesn't communicate well either. Right? He's like, you're a real guy, right? Like, do not communicate with the ladies. Say as little as possible, as few often, not as often as all. Not just to say as little as possible, and only say it when you absolutely have to say it. And don't say it right away. Keep waiting. That's the best strategy, honestly. So he's like that. Man after my own heart. It's probably, I don't think he's going to charge you much. But it was a short. And I said to him, it could be because I replaced one of the lights, which is an entire assembly, so it's sealed. And it came with its own pigtail. And it could be from opening and closing the door. We don't know yet. I'm not entirely sure. It's either the one on the lid, right? The hatch lid. She's got 4 backup bulbs. 4 of them. So I said, buy some bulbs anyway and keep them around while you're there at the store. The guy at the auto parts store, I'm not a mechanic, I don't know anything about it. No, they don't know anything. They just don't know anything. There's nobody So I couldn't get any information on anything further. And I had said to her, I said, I was thinking about when you were talking about this, because I had like a day to think about it. I said to myself, the 2 tools that I really need, because I don't do this anymore, is, I bought a new, to replace my VOM that went bad. I bought that one that I've been showing you guys on some of the live shows, and I think it's on some of my product videos that, I bought. It's a nice clamp-on meter, and it does have a proximity, an induction tester, but that's really more for AC. I said I really wanted to get one of those short finders, and I want to get one of those probes, the voltage probes, where you can apply power and it's circuit breaker protected. And I just don't have the money, and I don't do enough of this work. And she says, well, John, he this is his job. Like, he does this every day. So he has all of that stuff. I said, I know. I really been wanting some of those tools, but it's not going to happen right now. I just bought a bunch of things, and you can't have everything. But I was telling him, like, yeah, it's short finder. You can just basically go right down the run, and I showed her where the power was and where it was going through, and about where I could find it up to. I said, from there, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you at this point, unless you want to let me F around. And it's going to rain. Then tomorrow it's going to rain. It's already getting nasty out. I can't bring it in the garage because it doesn't fit in there anymore. So she needs a car. I'm like, your best bet is to bring it to your guy, the Hyundai guy. And so it's done. But a lot of the stuff you can't find information on because they don't want you fixing it. A lot of the guys talk about this. I watch a couple other fellas that are around our age that have been doing this all their lives. And, it's like the right to repair, that John Deere, that whole thing with all those big tractors and everything. They just don't want you fixing this stuff. The dealers now are making the kind of money that they've always dreamed of because they've managed to put just about everybody else out of business. So they're finally making the money, particularly in their parts and repair. And you're just not going to find out a lot of information on some of these things. And they really don't want you to because they want these parts in the grave and burnt. They don't want you to have these cars for very long. They're very expensive. They want you on another lease because nobody can afford to buy any one of these cars outright brand new. And of course, even if you take out a loan, by the time you pay off the loan, you're going to be buying another car or truck. So you'll own nothing and be happy. Thanks, Mr. Schwab. Klaus Schwab. Oh, let's go to Klaus. Speaking of Klaus Schwab. Hold on. Let's end it on a good note. Right. So yeah, it's done, but you need tools, and where am I going to get the diagram from? Like, we tried looking, even Hyundai's site, like they don't want you looking in there, right? You have to have certifications, and oh, jeez, it's brutal.
Klaus will take you.
I am Klaus. I am Klaus. I am Klaus.
Klaus. It's my friend. Klaus. Welcome to Klaus. I am Klaus. Let me see. Yeah, so TJ's here. You still here, brother? Let me check to see what you guys are doing. So I got a whole bunch of stuff at TJM. So TJ, I don't know if I showed you, TJ, you weren't on the live, I don't think, when I was showing Big Mike's gigantic tractor snowblower. But that project is coming to a close. I think tomorrow, definitely Monday, but I may, because I'm getting bored now, because I've been sitting here, like I said. So I'm getting bored, I'm getting antsy. That's why I was outside all day. It was beautiful out. I cleaned up too a little bit. Now that I got that part all nice and cleaned up, I'll put it on, get everything running, finish it up, and it'll be done. So either it's tomorrow or it's Monday, and that'll be done, Big Mike. But that pretty much solves that whole thing. Let's see, done and done, Brett says. Gaseous stuff is the aftermath of chili cook-off. Yes. TJM says, hello, I'm here. And Fun Seeker, hey, what's up, brother? TJM gives me the thumbs up. Mad says, sorry I'm late. Mad about mowers. Madhouse. Fun Seeker goes, hi, Robert. Hello, Arnie. Hey, Fun, have you heard anything more about Mater? Is he okay? I tried checking in. Hold on. Fun Seeker says, everyone is doing that, taking away the right to fix your own. Yeah, totally. TJM still here. Yeah. Yeah, I checked it. I occasionally will watch some of his ladies' show on the rerun, just to try to see. I haven't really heard much of anything, but hopefully Mater will be all right. I don't know. It sounds like he's doing 5 to 10. Although I haven't heard if they actually. I know he's been charged, but I don't know. You have to be convicted. But they'll let you sit, and they'll give you time served. Though they'll give you credit for time served, and if you're on good behavior, which I'm sure he's all right. He's probably making deals inside there, whatever, wheeling and dealing, playing poker or bingo or something, winning money. I don't know. I'm sure he's got something going on, some kind of racket. He'll be fine. But he's got to get out of there, because that ain't no way to make a living in there. But yeah, I tried to warn him. Like, you got to be careful. Okay, you don't understand their language. They'll screw you over. Let me see, TJ. I just wanted, if you didn't see it, let me just go back a little bit. He goes, Papa. Hey, Papa. What's the name of your new channel? Let me see. I'll find it in a minute. Hold on. Let's see. Fun says, he goes, Mater is supposed to go to trial, and he didn't take the plea deal. The plea deals, I told him to do that initially, is to go what I did, which is I threw myself on the mercy of the court to the judge, because they arrested the guy in front of me, right? It's scofflaw is what it is. If you can't, they want their money. Is what they really want. And if you can't give them money, they take it out on your hide. But you could make a deal with them. And I just stood up there and said, I'm ready to take responsibility. I'm not making excuses, just telling you what happened. Initially, I got it, and then I forgot all about it. And then when you sent me another notice, because we're about to arrest you, I came right away, and I brought cash. In fact, I almost got it ripped off from some punk, right? Because up in Hempstead, he saw me get out of my car. Hey, you got any money? You got any change? And, that's as soon as you reach into anything, right? That's when they cost you. And I started filling his ears with all kind of crap. Don't you see the piece of crap I'm driving over there? What are you asking me? You got any money? Do you see what I just drove up in? Are you asking me? Did you happen to see me rattling around the seats and everything for loose change so I could put it in the meter? No, I didn't see that. Well, you must have been watching, right? You didn't see that? So I started giving this guy a way to go. Meanwhile, I had a lot of cash on me, right? And he wasn't going to get at it. I wasn't going to let that happen. I think the judge gave me like a slap on the wrist, got rid of everything, and he said, he laughed and he smiled at me, and he was good for you, sir. He goes, how about $44? Like, sounds good to me, right? I mean, they're interesting people to work with, right? They're a different breed. They run in a different world. They have a different language. Their legal speak is not words like we use words. It has different meanings. I've talked a little bit about that. Look at Black's Law, and you'll find the meaning of people and human. And if they decide to apply language that way to the law, you don't even know what the hell they're talking about. It's really what it comes down to. Hey, Henry. Because I was cleaning out Husqvarna leaf blower for a neighbor. Nice. He goes, just spray carburetor cleaner and change filter. It works first time and everything. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes to get it started at the beginning of the year. That's the other thing, too, is that at the beginning of the year, the fuel, it's not that it completely goes bad, although it can, but everything gets sticky and it doesn't want to go. And And sometimes you just got to clean everything up and give it a little helping hand. In fact, I just picked up another can. Where is it? Oh, I put it away. I'm like, ooh, I'm getting low on starting fluid. All right, I better get some more. Right? You always got to keep a fresh can of starter fluid around if you're in this world. He goes, hi, Henry. So let's see. I just wanted to show you this in case you didn't see it. But yeah. Here's some of the parts. And we'll just kind of go back through it real quick at the end, and then I'll give you the one pick. This is for TJ. So TJ's getting the rest of the parts, right, from the parts machine, which is TJ's snowblower is up on my channel from a couple of years ago. Why dual belts suck, slow motion, high speed footage of dual belts running on a machine, and then he did a whole bunch of other things on it too. And it turns out the parts machine that Big Mike picked up is almost identical. It doesn't have dual belts. I think that's really the only difference, but it's almost identical. Most of these Murrays, of that vintage, they're like that. So just to back up, just to get the one main picture, and this is for TJ in case you didn't see it. Let me back up a little bit. We'll go through the quick tour again one more time. Yeah, here we go. I'll narrate on top. So this is Big Mike's machine, TJ. And so we took it all apart. And if I come back one, so these are the parts, and I started to show TJ
All right,
this.
so looking from this side.
So
right,
I used that whole can. So yeah, you're gonna get the. I showed you pics, TJ, the barrel and all that. And let's see. Here's another pic, another side view pic. This is a brute of a machine. We took all this apart, and that apart, and here we're taking this apart.
So
We got all this apart. This is part of the track mechanism, TJ.
go slow, and then over, something that looks out.
So that whole thing here.
And then we can put that.
So really part of what's wrong with it is this section where the motor goes, this all cracked. The motor was falling in and leaning. And the gears underneath, so this is the piece from the parts machine. And then this is his. All right, and I'm just showing the part numbers. And you can I'll scroll through this real quick. So this whole section was in good shape.
With the Scotch-Brite,
And on Big Mike's, the gears that were in here, they were leaning. And so the thing got racked, and it ate a chain, it ate a gear. And I have all those pictures somewhere. So what I did was, this one was in better shape, but it did still have some cracks in it. So I drilled the ends of the cracks, and then I ground them with a grinder, my little die grinder. And then I took my TIG welder, and I welded it closed. And I'll just come through this real quick. And what's nice about the TIG is it doesn't use a lot of
A
material.
little bit of sanding in a few spots. It's pretty cool. I cooled it with the air. Bit of
And
Scotch-Brite.
then I went through all of that. So basically fused up the cracks with the TIG. And then I finished that up. Okay, there you go. I'm trying to let it focus, but
It's locked in.
I can't stop it where I want it. And just cleaned it up. And then I made... oh, look, yeah, so you can see. Did a mock-up,
It fits nice. Put the bolt.
right? And then I made a plate out of steel. I made my template. And make sure everything underneath was nice. Nice and clean.
Got it all prepped.
And then I cut the template up, bolted it down,
Report.
welded it down,
Set, clean both sides.
because that's a problem. And once all that was done, now this machine's a little bit different.
You know, the rust off.
So got painted real quick, and once all that was done, then I had to replace his some of the gears, and I kind of had to rebuild the whole transmission assembly, which I don't know if I have that on. They're on different cameras, so this is what it would look like after I rebuilt it. I have to put 2 springs in tomorrow. Is one of the things I need to do too.
Flip it over the other way so you guys can see.
So-
Big Mike and I here.
So I reassembled it, realigned it, got a quick bit of paint. I just had to take these wheels back off and put the springs on this mechanism back here.
Yeah, we'll just flip it over the other way so you can see one more.
So, like again, the video will be out at some point, but next year, most likely.
That would be nice. Yeah, you could build all. Well, you put a remote on it, and when you get home.
Yeah, he's joking around with me. Hold on. The next one. So that's what it looks like inside. So he had ate one of the gears. It was a mess. It got all racked.
It's all nice lube, chain lube, and then the chain waxed. It's still setting up because we want it dry, and I polished up the disc and cleaned it. It's a little nasty. Damn near brand new. Yeah, it's like brand new.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's like brand new. All right, so now we're gonna try to.
Yeah, we put it
mounting everything
together,
up,
as
see
you
how
can
it
tell.
sits.
So it's all basically back together. We were just fooling around over here. So now I'm just kind of
There's
going
Mike.
through the
He gave me
motor and a
hand,
few
so we got
things.
pretty far.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we did great.
I just got to do the ignition.
He gave me a hand putting it back together.
And
We're both working on it.
because that is in my way.
Oh no, that's tight as hell.
Yeah, we'll take that off. That all looks good. His carburetor should be fine. Everything else is fine.
Yeah, it
We got the fog.
ran. It
This
did the
was put on
thing.
after. I did a little spray down here. He put those on. Adjustment we got off the butchery that was down there. Cleaned everything up.
Nice wheelies on 'em.
Nice wheels. He wanted a little bit higher as well. So
Everything's
we adjusted that.
lubed.
We put a little lube. Oh, the other thing we got to do is we got to lube this.
Yeah, we did
Let me
all
give
of
you the
that.
lube gun. There's a joint down there. Yeah, let's just do that while we're here. You got to reach in and spin that.
How does that spin?
You can
But
spin it
all that's
from
done.
here or from the other spot.
And I don't think there's anything else going on now. And just in case, I took pics of his sticker and everything. So I have the data and all that. I actually didn't date it yet. I was going to do that. I just haven't been well, and cranky and everything. But yeah, we're done with all of this. This is what I showed you a little bit ago, and I think that's about it. So yeah, let me come back. So that's why I said to you, I don't want to give you any parts quite yet. Other than the ones that I showed you that I took off. I literally took off everything out of both machines. But the swapping of the gears and the shafts and the chains and using the better stuff to fix his machine. And now we have parts for you, TJ. So I didn't want to say anything last week either because I didn't feel well. I'm like, oh, I don't need to be getting anybody else sick. You know, and I don't... And he can wait. If I got to wait... All right, so next week. So this week coming up, TJ, we'll get together one day this week if you want to come by this week and take whatever I have left and let me know if there's anything else. But yeah, there's all kinds of parts there and everything. That's the beauty of parts. This is why I used to make cars this way. Just drag them home, fool around with them, do a will it run long before YouTube, and have some fun with it. And a lot of times when we were younger, the fellows would come over and we'd christen it. We'd drink beers and pee on the tires in the middle of the night. Sit in the car, smoke pot, drink beers, and then get out and pee on the tires. It's good to be young, right? That was our idea. I tell people that. I'm like, I'm going to come over and christen your car. Well, you do no such thing. I'm like, nobody has any spirit anymore. Nobody has any spirit left in them anymore, right? No, because cars today aren't, a few $100s that you drive or drag home and you need a wingman because in case you break down along the way. I can't tell you how many times like my friend Rob and I would tow a car and somebody would drive in between the tow cables or whatever. You put red flags all along it and they still drive right over it. You got to have a breakable link because, rip your bumper or your under chassis apart. You know, it's just how people are. It's my brother. Hold on, let's see how he's doing. He goes, yes, low fever. Yeah, I think the headache is from blood pressure. Yup. Yeah, that's what I told him. I said you'll have a low fever, but again, he's on blood pressure medication. So I said, well, I would go in and at least let them make sure that your head not going to explode, right? Last thing you need, because he's older than me, and I'm pretty old. You know, you got to be careful. You know, you don't take anything for granted, unless you're me. You know, you're wild world. Unfortunately, my daughter's laughing at me because I keep describing everything as conditions on the ground are improving or they're not improving. Unfortunately, right now, the conditions on the ground are not very good. I'm almost out of coffee. There's no butter in the house, right? And although burgers are available, but there's no ketchup. There's mustard, but there's no hot dogs. Let's see. There's no more mayonnaise except for the organic mayonnaise, which tastes really weird because it's made from... It's not made from hydrogenated oils, right? Like Hellman's mayonnaise is made from. It's made from like real oil. But I gotta say, whatever's in Hellman's mayonnaise, it may be from Hellman's, but it does taste good. So yeah, we need to go food shopping. There's no more snack bars, so I'm eating garbage. Well, I have a snack bar here. Snack bar. Oh, the snack bar. All right, let's knock. Oh, they're yelling that a lot over there in the Middle East right now. Oh, my God. You know, it's funny, too, because you see all this stuff on TV and everything. I don't watch TV, but like on the internet, all these bombs going off. How the hell? I watch Tusi TV. He's actually an Iranian. He's an American. His father still lives over there and gets him some info on the ground. A lot of people actually... that do the news, check his channel out and are aware of it because he's pretty damn accurate. He's been around for a long time. He's a younger fella. But he recognizes the areas because he's been over in the Middle East. But I don't know if this is real. I've seen stuff, right, from years ago being replayed. Remember when the Iraqi war first started, not the Iraq war, the Ukrainian war first started up, and I showed you guys some war footage? And I asked you what you thought, and I think it was like Bleach was like, oh my God, that's horrible. And then I said to you, guess what? It's all fake. You know why it's all fake? Because it's made on one of those war game things, that the servers that I used to run on this box right over here. It looks real, right? But if you're watching it on this stupid thing, or if I tell you it's real, you're seeing what you're seeing, you think it's real. And everybody on here thought it was real. I'm like, nope, absolutely fake. Absolutely fake. So we just don't know, especially with the situation with AI and everything today. I don't know. I'm sure there's something going on over there, but so much of what you hear on like the lame stream news is just it's misdirection, lies, half truth, subterfuge, made up shit, and then they leave out the stuff you really want to know. But how about that purple pill, right? Or Propecia in case your hair is falling out and you're bald, right? That they'll tell you. It's nuts. It's just, we live in an upside down world. It's just crazy. So I don't get too involved in it. Oh, the Straits of Hormuz is closed. Yeah, okay, yeah, good luck with that. No, it's not. They just don't. Lloyd's of London just doesn't want to pay for anybody going through it, so we'll pay for it. And it's funny because I was looking at a recorded but real-time map, and what they were doing is the big ships, right where like the straits are, right, comes over into an area where it's like a block. And then everything comes around, right? The ships are coming around. They're going, it's more like this. They're coming around. You see their interrogate IFF, like their transponder, and they're on, right? And they're on, and they're on. And then suddenly it goes off, okay? And then they appear over here, right? Because what they were doing is they were turning off their tracking as they were coming right through the straits, because that way, if you turn off your radar and a transponder, then you can't be targeted. No one knows where exactly you are. You have to be line of sight. And since there's an American warship sitting over there, line of sight, I don't think I want to fire anything off, because if I fired something off line of sight, I can't fire off anything at a distance because I can't see the thing I'm trying to hit because there's no transponder. So I have to be line of sight. And if I were to go fire line of sight, there'd be a lot of big barrels and a lot of heavy weapons aimed right at me in a second, or an F-35 or an F-22. So this is just one big load of crap. So it's a good opportunity to raise the price of gas once again. Meanwhile, there's no reason to raise it. They just raise it because they're scared and they can make more money. So we pay for their fear. Makes me nuts. Let me see what you guys are up to. Makes me nuts. I don't care. Right? They can go to hell. I don't give a shit. Bravo goes, hey, Bravo. Good evening, gents. Late in was birthday. Oh, yes, happy birthday to you. Right? You live in a shoe. Yeah, it's his birthday. He goes, a celebration night with the whole family. Yeah, I'm another year older. All you young and whippersnappers. Yep. Yeah, that's cool. DJ says, looks good. Madhouse says, I tried out the new 46-inch 3-blade mower deck today. Yeah, did it cut good? Well, by the way, I saw you were going to sharpen those new blades. You don't need to sharpen new blades. They come sharp. Hope you didn't ruin them. What'd you go and start grinding on them for? TJ says he's laughing. Bravo goes, Tusi is Great Britain and he lives in Iran. Yeah, is Iranian. Oh, he lives in Great Britain, right. Right, he lives in Great Britain, something like that. Yeah, that's right. He lives over there. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I don't pay attention. But I know a lot of people, they people that are in the news, they watch him. I don't know why. I guess because he's accurate. He's been doing it a while. It is hard to trust anybody that does the news today. Anybody. It's very hard. It takes time. But then, how I look at things is, to me, everything is statistic. I was telling my lawyer friend this. I'm like, I follow everything. I follow all of this crap for years. I don't care if it's conspiracy, flat earth, aliens. I don't care what it is. But to me, it's entertainment. Because what I do is I look at it, and there's a couple of criteria, like credos that I have. The first thing is, 1, do I need to know it? Well, I don't need to know it. Okay, 2, do I want to know it? Yeah, all right, run it by me. And then after that, I look at it and go, well, what's the believability factor here? Is it 50%, 20%, 100%? And I reserve the right to change my mind. But if I hear something like, file that one away, that could be 40%, 50%. I go either way. Remember, 50% is a coin toss. So even if you say, well, I believe that maybe 50% is about accurate, it's still an effing coin toss, right? Go either way. And then, do I need to know it now? Like, is it that important where I need to know this and to be true or not now? Or can this be something that evolves over time? So that's the other thing I think about. Well, I don't really, most stuff I don't need to know right now. Things I need to know right now. I'm hungry, I need to eat. The right light just turned green, light just turned red. Okay. A lot of the other stuff is like, well, I don't know, maybe it could be. I don't know, I got to wait. I got to hear more, And sometimes I'll see things that went from 50 to 60 to 70 to 80%. And I'm like, ooh, that's starting to look a lot more real, as time goes on. I'm going to start looking into that a little bit more and see what happens. Like I said, some of this footage, we don't know when the hell of a lot of it, is Netanyahu dead or Net and Satan? That means Netanyahu is man of God, or I forget what the translation is. Man of Satan? I don't know. 5 fingers, 6 fingers. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Who knows where he is, right? He's probably hiding somewhere. Who knows? He's usually out and about. He could have died. You're not going to find out anytime soon. I mean, they could, even if he did die or didn't die, either way, it's propaganda. You could possibly use that information or lack thereof to your advantage. Let's play that out. Let's game it out. If he didn't die, but everybody thinks he did die, so how could we game that out? What advantages can we gain from that? The first casualty of war is the truth. So you just have to sit back and pray and cross your fingers and just be glad you're not over there. What a horrible place. I can tell you this, though. All those Arab countries that are over there, because Iran isn't Arab, but, like I'll give you an example. It's like the United Arab Emirates or Dubai, for example. Dubai, this is the second time Formula One just passed up Dubai. That sucks for Dubai. That's big money and big prestige and big people coming into your country, because that's what your country is set up to do, is to have stuff like that going on. And because of this chaos, right, they lost it again, which also sucks for Formula One, because that's a great place to put Formula One once again. So they're not going to want this. they want a lot of this stuff solved. I definitely, from that point of view, is that I think in that regard, maybe Trump might be doing them all a favor, because you need to solve these problems one way or the other. You can't have problem countries anymore in the Middle East. That's not flying. These aren't a bunch of what they used to call sand niggers, right? No, they're not. No, they're not. Right? They have been for a very long time modern countries, particularly Iran. And they have been, I mean, these are very, very strong people. A lot of them are very intelligent, very well educated. A lot of them have a lot of money, and they don't want problems anymore. They're not looking to make Hamas. And no, you may not believe what they believe. They may not believe what you believe, but you know what they believe in? Making money, right? And having cool shit like Formula One, and not having their hotels bombed and their people killed, right? So you wouldn't like that. We wouldn't like that if that was going on here, right? Well, it kind of is going on here. Mostly peaceful protests with the fire burning where they tore down that police house, right? Station house, and they burnt the whole neighborhood up, and they're like in New York, and they're going in. You're allowed to steal. You just you have to steal under $1,000. So they're breaking, gangs are breaking in everywhere, they're tearing everything up. Like, oh yeah, because that sounds right. That sounds like fun. We're not any better. We're not any better. Yeah, so TJ, that's that. That's the deal with that. What time is it? Where are we? An hour and 4 minutes. Papa goes, how many miles are on that Chevy Astro? Oh, I know. I always wanted one. Oh, it's the same here. All-wheel drive, miss having a van, even a 60-year-old. Yep. I'm 62, and one of my friends that used to hang around, he moved upstate. When I got my van a couple of years later, he bought the Astro with the 4-wheel drive. And he got the one, so my doors open up like regular doors. He got the ones that split. I forget what they call that. The windows come up and the doors open. So the windows come up and then the doors, open out, right? Mine are just, one piece, 2 doors, glass and everything container. They just open up. Now I can get a 4x8 in my van. If I pull the console out, they used to be, because mine was a dressed up van, there used to be like a coat rack in the back. That all came out. Yeah, you can shove a 4x8, and if you don't want to shove it all the way up against like the dashboard in the front, you can just let it hang out of the doors in the back, and kind of close the doors on them, and put a red flag out and tie the doors back, and you're good to go. I also have a trailer, but it doesn't work. Yeah, barn doors, Mike says. Yep. Yeah, those are cool. But he got the all-wheel drive. And, he was a mechanic. He worked at a shop for a while, and then he got a job with H.O. Penn, I think, in the city. They were all big equipment, and then they moved him up. He moved upstate and drove down to get to the shop. But he's probably retired by now, because once he started doing all of that, he started making big money. And then he moved up to an area where it didn't cost as much. It's just a longer drive. But he had more property, more garage space, because where we came from in Nassau County, everything is small. The McMansions, right, on a little postage stamp of property. You have enough room to park your car up front, and a tiny little backyard and no side yard, and not bad, expensive now, like ridiculous. When they were cheap, right, they were worthy, and now they just got to be too expensive. So he got out before all that happened. And that van was nice. It was two-tone. I think it was like a gold and a black. The interior was really nice, like a tan with some black trimming and everything on it. I was dying. I really wanted that. I have seen them on Marketplace from time to time. Yep. And it's funny because, like I said to my ex, I said, it's not like I have Chiltons and all that on all the cars and trucks and stuff that we had. I'm like, do they even make like a Chiltons or a Haynes? Is there up there? Or a Haynes or something like that for like a 2012... Hyundai or whatever. I don't know, because there's not a whole lot of information on YouTube about it. And then you got to fish through all the people that are posers on YouTube. Look, I fixed a broken fuse. That's what it is. Simple, easy ways. Everybody wants a simple fix. But what if it's not a simple fix? Then what do you do? Like, I still have people complain to me. Either you talk too much, which, yeah, that's true. So what? I talk too much. I don't get to the point. Or anything, I can't watch more than 5 minutes. Well, what are you going to learn in 5 minutes? How to remove a fuse? You know, I mean, I did some work on Elizabeth's van, her Chrysler van, and I went through all of the steps that we had to do to trace the electrical system. And you know what it wound up being that was unreliable? It wasn't so much the switch as it was the connector that Chrysler made. The wires were so thin that they weren't making contact, because in order for the wires were thin, and the little needle point connectors on the end of the connector, the actual metal pieces that stick into the switch, they just were no longer able to make any contact. They were so small. And the reason for this is that in the older cars, right, the wires were big, 18, 16, 14, 12, whatever. So if you wanted to turn over an electric motor that raised your window, that took current. That was a big connector with a big wire. Now they use body control modules, and everything else is a sensor. So all of the wires that you would be interfacing with mostly are these little shit wires that go bad in the environment of a car with the vibrations and everything else. And they short out, they're brittle, they have almost no insulation on them. And then you have to figure out, well, where is the body control module? And am I triggering it right? And what is the output of the control module? How do I simulate? Because the connector you're holding in your hand isn't the connector that has really anything to do with what really the problem is. It may or may not be. In the old days, I said to her, I was like, you know, to get at the lights, I got to pull off these inspection panels on the interior. And the lights on the outside, you have to take the light assembly off the body with the crappy nuts on the back that you can only barely get to after you've removed an inspection panel. You can't get to the bulb straight away. You have to take all that off. And now you got to undo all the clips and everything to loosen up the extra bit of wire you're going to get on the connector so you can get the connector off. So then once you pull that apart, you can then take it and look in your hand and go, oh, okay, now I can get to the bulb. We should just open up the trunk, pull a little thing down, reach over, twist the light out and go, yep, it's burned out. Put another 1157 in or 1156. Maybe spray a little white lube in the socket, shove it back in, and if it blew something out, it blew a fuse out. It didn't blow out a computer system. It's crazy. Like, you got to be a rocket scientist now to fix one of these things, and you better have a wiring diagram and a location manual as to where this is all located. Because I've been looking it up, and they're like, well, where is this box located? Well, it could be under the dash on the right-hand side on the driver's side. It could be on the left-hand side behind the fuse box that's there, but you'll have to take off all this stuff either way. Or it could be on the right-hand side on the passenger side. So what are you telling me? You don't even know where it is? It's a 2012 Hyundai, right? Whatever it is, El Paso, Santa Fe, I don't know. You don't know where it is on that car? Why? AI doesn't know. And the first answers you get are now from AI. So AI doesn't know. So then what are you going to make it up? AI's hallucinating again? It could be anywhere. I don't know. You have to go taking stuff apart and go find it. What does it look like? Couldn't find a picture of it. All right, so now I have to go looking for the thing which no one can tell me where it is, and I don't even know what it looks like. And then Veronica found an actual dealer part for something that we think it is. It's a black box with a sticker on it with a bunch of part numbers. Doesn't tell you what it is. So you'll have to go and look at those part numbers and cross-reference it against something for it to tell you what module that thing is. Because maybe you can follow the wires, unlikely. You could maybe identify some of the colors of the wires. That might help. But where is the information? We can't really get our hands on it. They don't want you to have it. They're not going to make it easy for you. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not an auto mechanic. I gave up that job years ago, and I'm glad that I stopped doing it. You know, most of the guys today, you got to work for a dealership, and you have to be trained in that vehicle. And then then they still work on these crazy book time jobs where they barely get paid for what they're trying to do. What a horror. What a horror. And then you're working on crappy, greasy stuff that's not taken care of, and you're getting filthy for no reason. Better off being a diesel mechanic. You know, at least that's, you're going to make more money, and maybe, I don't know, it's probably just as thankless, but it's got to be a little bit better. You know, I don't know. I'm hoping. So I don't know how many miles are on. Maybe 100,000. I turned it over. I think I turned it over. I bought it. It didn't have. It had maybe half. It maybe half that. It did have a lot more miles than what you would normally when I bought it, because it was set up as like a cruiser van, you know, with the Tiara interior package. And the couple that owned it were grandparents, and they came up here a lot. They bought the van up here, but they also went down to Florida a lot. And sometimes they took some of the grandkids with them. So there was plenty of room in there for everybody. There was a TV in it. And there. The TV's still there. It's an old CRT, actually. It was an old setup. I put a bunch of things into it, and I don't know, I want to take a lot of that stuff out and just kind of make it more of not really a cargo van, but just more of a comfortable van that I use. I've used it for years. I used to haul, when I worked up in Connecticut all the time, I used to haul a lot of control systems and everything that I would make and modify and design and fabricate and load up all the inventory and all the finished product. And I could stack that stuff in there, balls to the wall, where I'd have almost no room to move. That was fun. I put in a set of shocks, helper shocks with the springs in the back. And just to kick it up a little bit, they're still in there. I need to replace them. They're kind of beat. The mechanic that does my inspection complains about them all the time. They still work fine. They're just rusty as shit. And I also want to put a sway bar on the back of it, because it does roll a little bit. You know, it's a big body van. Nobody likes driving it. I don't know. I think it drives really good. I did finally get the anti-lock brakes working. I replaced the sensors. I finally found a set that was reasonably priced. And I never did release that video. I put new rotors, new bearings. I think it was just new rotors, and I replaced the bearings. I think I did. Might have done bearings. I don't remember. Calipers. Took everything apart and also replaced the sensor backing plates and all of that. And I found the correct pair. I think they were Dorman. Went through all of it, put it all back together, made it nice. Lights gone, and it works properly. So you don't really use them all the time. It's just certain times when it comes on. I think some of the original designs were maybe a little bit better because they didn't always get in your way. And when they failed, for what, usually because of the sensor, they didn't get in your way. It just returned it to regular braking. So that all works now. But yeah, I like having your Papa says barn door. Yeah. Yeah. Fun says, he goes, I hate all this AI garbage. They're going way too far with it. Yeah, because it's new and they're trying to, the problem they have is they're trying to develop it, and they're putting all this time and money into developing it. Tons of money and time and making big data centers and all this. It hasn't made them any real money. It's all of this investment. And they claim that they're going to replace all of our jobs and all this is, the end of the world. I don't know. They still haven't made any money with it. For what they're spending on it. And all of the gamers and all the computer people like me, we're all complaining because these companies like NVIDIA and all the other ones and the chip manufacturers and all that, I mean, their biggest, other than corporate, where, you got to put a computer in every room, right? A lot of what drove it too was the consumer market, because people like computers and people that are into the technology and the gamers. I mean, the gamers are the ones that were buying some of the high-end stuff. The servers and all that bought a different kind of high-end stuff. And then eventually the two intertwined with each other. And a lot of gamers and anybody out there that is into computers will know that, like, I'm running a server processor right now. It's an older 12-core server processor. It runs great. It runs better than the high-end processor that I bought from Intel, which they called the Black Edition, which they got from a server design they had, which they modified for high-end desktops. So, but these manufacturers don't want to do that anymore. They're like, oh, we only want to cater to this industry right now. because all the money and everything is going into that whole development, which is why the chip shortage, which is why the increase in price for everything. Granted, right, if you're buying high-end computer gear today, well, it is very high-end. Any laptop or phone or whatever, you're paying a lot for it. But it is very high-end. Even at the lower level, it is very high, very highly developed. So, yes, it's expensive. But it's made more so because this AI shit. And you can set up an AI system in your own house, right? If you're really into it, if you're a high-end computer person, if you want to invest the money into it. There's a lot of open source software you can get. It'll do pretty much the same thing. And you can have it tie into other AI on the web. Or you can just close it off. You can wall it. You can firewall it. And depending on what you want to do with it, I mean, if you're a developer doing games or whatever, or programs, whatever, you could use it for that as well. If you're into, if you're engineering, or rocket design, or really anything that requires accurate, compiled information done quickly. And, you know, the things about AI that makes it so good is that, one, it can dial in on one thing and really dial in on it and get it done fast. And the other thing, too, is it can aggregate a lot of disparate information and pull it together into a cohesive thing that's understandable by a human being and usable quickly, which is why it can make music and it can write, because it has access to everything, and it can calculate it all and put it all together. But it's not imaginative or anything. It's not like a human being. You might think it is, but you know what? I've showed you guys some of that AI stuff. I've showed it to you. You may not realize it. It's weird, right? It's really weird. Even Henry had said something. I showed something one day about the world's weirdest market. It's weird because it's demented. Why is it demented? Because humans are demented, and it's accessing, where is it getting its information? From us. And largely, humans are weird and demented and odd, especially these days, right? And it sees a lot of that, and it runs with it. Why? Because we like it. It likes it for whatever weird reason, because we're weird and demented and odd. The only problem is that we know when to stop doing that, and if we don't know when, then they lock us up, right? But we can't. AI doesn't know to stop. It doesn't know it. Okay, that wasn't a good idea, AI. Like, human beings try to hold back. Like, you might say, like, that's why I have the warning in a minute. Like, somebody might say, oh, you're at a party. This party's not for that. Why don't you? Can you just calm down a little bit? Your mouth's a little too much. And I would sit back and go, you know what? You're probably right. I'll be on my best behavior tonight. What tells AI to do that? Another script? Good luck with that. You know. He goes, let's see. Let me catch up. And TJ goes, I need to replace struts. Oh, no, bro. Shocks on a 2006 Toyota Camry, but dealer parts are too expensive. Also, everything is separate. So where can I get the whole strut with shocks all in one or together? Well, that's usually how you get them, but they're expensive because you're getting the whole thing. And I don't know, some of the older models, you had to put them on separately, which means you need a compressor, and you can't do that job. And then you're going to have to realign it. So you have to bring it to an alignment shop immediately. So you can't do that job. If you have never done that, then you have to do it with somebody that knows how to do it either way, which is basically why you should bring it to a mechanic. Because you're taking apart your steering suspension system, effectively, your suspension system. But it's aligned, because if you don't align it right, the wheel will either be like this or it'll be like that. And it's dangerous. You have to support the whole system, and you got your transmission going through there because it's front wheel drive. And yeah, it's not going to be cheap. It's not cheap no matter which way you do it. And you're going to want to do both. Liz had given me a car. I forget what it was. It was kind of neat. But, you know, they're terrible over there. And she wanted to give it to me for my daughter for her first car, but everything just took so long with her. It was too late. She gives me the thing anyway, and I bring it back home, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, because I heard a noise up front. Well, the spring had broke up top, And when you would turn the wheel, if you turned to a certain point, the springs would clash with each other and bang. And I'm like, well, it needs struts. I don't want the car anymore because I don't want to spend the money on new struts for this piece of crap. And the muffler fell off. And then the pipe fell off. And then because they didn't take care of it at all, like her van, she doesn't even use it anymore. No one ever changed the oil on it. And I went to go change the oil on it, and whoever put the bolt on for the oil pan, put it on the drain plug, put it on so hard that I started to see the pan buckle as I was trying to. I'm like, I gotta stop. I'm not going to be the one to replace this oil pan. Not doing it. So like, there's some things that I got rid of the car. I gave it to Mikey. I think I traded that truck car thing. It went pretty good, but I traded it to him for. I think that's what I traded him with, maybe $100 in cash or whatever for the Sunstar, and the Sunstar needed work. But I'm like, I'd much rather have the Sun. That was a good call on my part because Mike and I were always taking care of each other and everything. And I'm like, if you don't want it, you can sell it, because he moves cars and stuff because he knows all the people that do all that. So he took it, and I don't know what he did with it. But we had the title and everything. Yeah, you don't want a car or truck from Liz. No. She will kill everything. Yeah, at least my ex-wife tries to take care of it. Like, she learned from me because back in the day we had real bummers. Remember all the old V6 motors from like the 80s, like late 70s, 80s? They were all crap. Oldsmobile, GM, they all used oil. They would start to knock. They would overheat. They just burned up. They smoked all the time, right? They were completely unreliable. The Malibu, all those early V6s, garbage. Like my V6 in the van is a good unit, right? The Vortec, it's basically a cut-off V8, small block V8. Now, the earlier ones, the Pontiac 301 or whatever, what a piece of crap. Oh my God. Horrible. It would knock. Just horrible. But the thing is my phone is mid-grade. That was all I could afford for my new phone. Yeah. That's why I'm trying to get my friend Matt's phone, his Samsung, right? Similar to, it's got all the cameras and everything on the back. But yeah, he picked up, because his mom, I guess for moving out and everything, she decided to buy him a nice phone. So he got the top of the line Samsung through Verizon. But the one he has is unlocked for $50. But I said, well, I'll buy your video card. It's like a 2070. It's like the whole model up from one I have. Still an older video card. But he wanted $250 because all those parts, even the used ones now, have gone up in price. And I know him, and we've shared parts before. And I know, it's in beautiful shape. He takes care of the stuff. I trust him. So $300 for the video card and the phone. So when I get $300, I told him, I said, I'll send it over and you can send it out to me because he lives in Pennsylvania. So hopefully that'll come. But I can't afford anything else right now. I'm not spending $1,200 on a new phone. It's not going to happen. DJM goes, what's a good brand to purchase? A good brand of what? Like parts wise? I don't know. You got to find a mechanic. I do not recommend you poke around with that. You could get hurt too if you don't know what you're doing. Absolutely. Demetrios. Hey, Demetrios. Hey, Archie. I'm not a fan of running and storing any small engine machine completely dry. Yeah, I know. That has a fuel shutoff valve. My generator and my backup snowblower both leak like sieves from the shutoff. He says, hey, Archie, I'm not a fan of running and storing any small engine machine completely dry. Because seals. But, the other side of it is water and oxidation and mung and varnishing and what I got my generator. I haven't put the video yet because I'm not done with it. Because it got to get pushed aside for Big Mike's machine and everybody else's stuff and contractor mics. But I will finish it. But I do want to run it. It runs. I didn't look in the bowl. I've run it dry, but I run a little tank on it, And I like to finish up with like two-stroke, like a kind of like a mix. Or sometimes I just pour a little two-stroke mix or oil or whatever into the gas tank, the little gas tank, and I let it smoke a little bit and let it run. And then I empty the bowl, make sure, and I turn the fuel shut off, et cetera, right? Because there's a fuel shut off as well. So I never run it. When I cleaned out the tank on that generator, I cleaned it out years ago, spick and span, and it's been sealed shut. And I've never put gas in it. I've always run machines like that off of one of my spare tanks or my test tank. Now, that said, I still like to run a little something in there, something with an oil. And the two-stroke oil is usually the safest, and it's usually around. And the other thing, too, is, like this year, I just dumped some two-stroke oil. I just picked up some new. So I don't know what I did with the old two-stroke oil, honestly. I don't remember now. Usually I try to save it in a separate container. So I'll use that to run things in. But pretty much every year, if I haven't used up what's in my can of two-stroke, I try to put it to the side and I get fresh. And I usually start off with like 92, 93 octane. And then I mix it accordingly. And I try to keep that, it lasts about a year, in here. I always say about a season. Not a year, a season. Because I'll use it throughout the season, and then come next year, whatever's left, I find uses for. I dump it in my lawnmower as I'm driving it. I put a little bit in there, whatever. So I always try to wet my machines down. Somebody else's machine, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not there for you. I'll be there when it's broken now, right? I tell them, you could put stable in, and there's all these other things, lots of people swear by this, that, or the third, or a Lucas product in or whatever. Yeah, the thing can happen where things can get dry, and then they'll leak when you go to fire everything up later on. But I hadn't started it in 2 years. I don't think I got a chance to start it last year. It doesn't leak. When I'm done checking over the valves, because that's part of the video, I want to go over the valves, and I want to finish cleaning it up a little bit, spray it up, clean it with some little silicone, whatever, and I'm going to do like I just said and shut it off with the twist valve and be done with it, let it run out, let it oil it up, because that's what I did 2 years ago, and it doesn't leak, and I don't have any problems with it. And whenever I didn't do that to my snowblower, my green snowblower, and I had problems. And I just showed that in the past couple of videos. Enough water and moisture gets in, and it starts with the alcohol, and it starts to attack stuff. And it doesn't just attack seals, it's going to attack the aluminum of the carburetor, and that's what it did. And a piece of that got up in when I needed it, and it ran like crap until it passed it like a kidney stone. Demetrius says, I had to replace both valves. He goes, what are your thoughts? Really? Crappy valves? Crappy parts? Were they original? Some of the problem is they've changed metallurgy over the years on the aluminum, on the various engine parts. They've changed the composition, a lot of the fuel lines and plastic, so-called plastic rubber stuff. For a while, they started making this stuff out of soy oil or some other bean seed oil, right, instead of petroleum. Some of the Chinese stuff, you see some of these shutoff valves are garbage. You got to buy name brand, or if you take a chance, you're going to have to pressure test them or suck test them or whatever. Briggs hose, I think, is still made well. I've seen some of these hoses. I've picked up some cheap hoses for some cheap fixes. And after like a year, they're flexible. And then after a year, they get hard. They're almost like a molded hose. They just get hard. They're not brittle. They're just hard. And, let's say you want to go pull an end off, a carburetor or a valve or something. If there is an excess, you're kind of screwed because it's not pliable anymore, right? I mean, you could heat it a little bit, but, that sucks. Why is that? You use like Briggs hose and it stays pretty good for a long time. Even the end, if you're careful and you lubricate it a little bit, you can pull it off a carburetor, off a gas tank, whatever. They're playing games, original equipment is usually pretty good, but nowadays I find that that's even questionable. Let's see. Jamie says, how much of the workforce will be put on the unemployment line due to AI? They say it, claim a lot. TGM says, just need to do the rear struts. Okay, they may be a little easier, the rears, but I don't know on that vehicle. Yeah, aluminum head, yeah. I'm wondering how much. Everybody's coming up with all these terrible, terrible numbers. Brett says, I installed a shutoff valve on the old Craftsman snowblower. And a friend of mine found me an original used OEM electric starter for it. Maybe do a video of a conversion, yeah. Yeah, noodle around with it. See if it fits. You know, I mean, you don't even have to complete the video. Like you could make of, let's see if it fits and, hold it up there and noodle around with it. You don't have to have a successful video to be doing something fun on YouTube. You can have a failed video or let's see video. How was this? I mean, I show you guys all kinds of stuff, especially on the live show. That's one of the things I like. I mean, the footage is grainy or it's shaky because it's not edited, it's not stabilized, like it's raw. And let's see, check this thing out. Let's look at this thing. Like they're just kind of like let's check it out videos. I like that because that's me. That's how I am. I don't even claim to be most of the time a mechanic. I'm more of the guy. Have a set of tools, right? Let's dig in, right? Like, I got tools. Let's grab some screwdrivers and some wrenches and a drill and a welder and whatever, and let's just see what happens at the end of the day, right? I mean, that's really. I've always been like that, That's why I took all of the courses and certifications and everything. It wasn't to have money or to get a job or anything. It was just let's just see. Let's go over there and see what this college course is like or whatever, or what this course is like or whatever. And let's just see what happens. Maybe I'll get to build something cool or I'll learn something neat. And especially with like all my hobbies. Like I said, I used to bring old cars, drag them home in front of the house. My neighbors hated me. There'd usually be a stream of green fluid running down. My one neighbor would come up, PJ's dad would come up and he goes, are you changing your antifreeze? No, I'm just emptying it. I'm not changing it. He's like, I can see it's in front of my house now. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. I'll run some more water down there. Run the hose. Just to see what is... People come over like, what do you do with this 1964 Galaxy, right? Or this old 1960-something truck? This thing's... One of my friends had said to me, John, come on! He was appalled. It looks so horrible. I mean, we had a little dignity back in the day. Oh, I didn't, but they did. And I dragged this thing. I'm like, well, I really want the motor. I think it was a 352 Ford. Not a 390. I think it was a 352. And it ate the camshaft on me. Well, I got to see what it was like to eat a camshaft. I tried to do a Jiffy rebuild, but for some reason or another, I put everything. Everybody said to me, "Oh, you gotta make sure that you put the lifters back on the same lobes." I'm like, well, they don't all look bad. They're not all bad. I don't know why you would have to do that, but I'll do it anyway. I got out the egg carton. I lined everything up. I went through it. I kind of cleaned it up. I put it all back together and it ate the effing camshaft right away. And the motor wasn't trash or anything, but I was done with that let's see project. I'm like, all right, let's get rid of it. I don't want the damn thing. Because the problem is where I lived, there was no place to keep all of this shit. I got rid of a beautiful 283 that a friend of mine built up, with the steel crank and everything. I ran that thing over 100,000 miles, and wouldn't you know, it had like 200,000 miles on it. And the body of that 73 Nova just started aging out and rusting, and the holes through that where the bolts went through for the control arms were all oblong, and it was tired, right? But the motor was fine, and I felt bad. I'm like, Arthur, I got it from my friend Arthur. I pulled out a 307. It wasn't all that bad. I mean, I remember back in the day, you'd go past 7-Eleven, and there's a small block Chevy laying in the road or off to the side. Oh, look, there's a Ford over there. When I was really young, somebody got rid of an old 70-something Cadillac that was in nice shape, and I had the hood open. And I must have been in like 5th grade or whatever, or 6th grade. I'm looking down, and the motor said 472 on it. And I said to my friend who knew nothing and didn't think this was important, I said, that's effing huge. 472 cubic. I want this motor. And then a cop came by, and he leaned over and he goes, what are you boys doing with that? I'm like, I'm just checking out the motor. You better not be taking anything from it. Shut the hood. Shut the hood. I want to come back and make sure everything's still here. I'm like, crap. They just threw it out behind the stores. They just threw the car out. I'm like, where am I going to put all of this? Like I said, I'm a redneck. I'm a Yankee. I should have been upstate or down south somewhere in a lot of property. And I would have been one of those guys on YouTube now, right? All right, like I was watching earlier, it was like a Cold War Motors. I would have been like that guy, okay? There would have been crap everywhere. Like a friend of mine said to me, because you really want to piss off your neighbors, why don't you restore an old oil truck, or even better, a septic truck? I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a good idea. I can't do that. Like he would always try to get me into, pull the chassis out of that and put it in your Nova. It's a better chassis. And okay, I did, right? So I had to go buy another car, which was up the block, which I got for $50. I got a motor and transmission from a Pontiac from a neighbor all the way up the block, which I drove around for a bunch of time, and then eventually I pickled that. I'm like, but where am I going to put all of this shit? It's the same thing with these small engines. I mean, at least with the small engines, I have a little bit of hope because I got a little bit more property and I pile it up, but most of it sits outside, and it can, if I don't get to it in a couple of years, it's crap. You know, because Mother Nature's having at it, right? It's infected with bugs and animals, and then all the way in the back behind my shed, you don't even want to know. I show you guys back there. I haven't gone back there in years, right? When you look back there and you see the leg of a raccoon or whatever hanging out, and the thing's just sleeping, and there's raccoon crap strewn across everything. Like at some point, right, I got to wait for him to leave, and then, you know, you got to wear gloves and a mask, right? Like, but that's how I would be, like worse. There'd be airplanes. There was a military place around the corner here, and like I wanted the fuselage that was out front, because I had a flight sim, and like that would be cool. You know, cut a hole in this wall over here, mount the thing up against the building, because this wall does nothing, right? That's the eave, so that's the gable end, right? So these walls don't really do anything. They're there for show. So cut a hole, right? And then put the flight sim in there, right? In the fuselage. They didn't want much for it. Eventually, the place went under because everything was going under in those days. Everybody was leaving because they couldn't afford the rent and electricity. So, I'm like, why can't I have all of these things? You know? Why not? I used to work on plenty of aircraft. And I have a license, actually. I have a general and an aviation license. I don't have a power plant. I have general and I have airframe. I'm like, why not? Let's have it. If I had money, I would, I would have all this crap somewhere. Or put it in a warehouse, Brett goes, I installed a shutoff valve in the, I saw that one already. I'm like, yeah, the OEM starters are nice. Raccoons, yep. I have now a couple of OEM Tecumseh starters for the big machines. And thanks to Mike, I've got one set aside for myself, just for me. And it works. And that stuff lives either in the basement here, in the basement in the house, or it lives in the shed. And now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with all of this stuff, because we got to make room now for my daughter and her soon-to-be husband. So we got to figure that out. So I got to get my shit together. So this year I want to work on clearing out a lot of that. It's got to go bye-bye, especially the old tractors and everything. So I'll put some together, sell them, and fix some of them, and part the rest out, and condense. Got to do that. That's got to happen this year. So the YouTube channel is going to change a little bit. Less of the lawnmowers. I've been wanting to do more of the tractors for the longest time, and I'm probably going to show parting out some of these things. So you guys are going to get to watch some old piece of crap, Craftsman or whatever it is, getting parted out, calling up Juan, getting loaded in the back. Yep. Juan, you want to come pick up a whole bunch of scrap mowers? Sure, Tuesday I'll be there. Yep, because he usually does things on Tuesday. Actually, my neurologist wants me to go get, he's had this for the longest time. He's giving me a hard time because he doesn't want to write me scripts anymore for painkillers. I'm like, Doc, I don't know what you else want me to do. You want me to go have all this stuff done? I'm 62. You really want to screw with this? Like, I'm doing things now I haven't done in 15 years. I mean, like, I'm a success. in that regard. So now I'm actually going to go for some more balance therapy and stuff. Because I'm like, you're not sticking anything else in me. You're not putting radionuclei into me with seeds. No, you're not ablating my nervous system with radiation. No, all right? No. Maybe when I first was really bad and I couldn't walk and I was in agony all the time. But no, you're not doing that. This is what they want to do to you now. They want to... No, you guys don't have good ideas anymore. I don't like you doctors with your effing ideas, right? Don't you guys know anything about, like, naturopathy? No, they don't. And so Health and Human Services, Kennedy's like, he's like, now they're trying to pass this law that says that doctors actually have to take education in health and nutrition. Because they don't. And I often say, right, they can save your life, but they can't make you healthy because they don't know how. They're never taught. And they don't want them to know. Just push the drugs, push the needles, push all the other stuff. Oh, God, it's horrible. It's horrible. Roberto says, yeah. He goes, you gave me an idea. I'll start restoring vacuum trucks here. Yeah, ooh. Really piss off the neighbors. I know this so loud. Like that sound is horrible. It's the same kind of sound like of the suction machine from your cesspool. You know? It's hard. Like, and the Karens are making it worse because the fellas are trying to find a job. And it's harder to find a job. Not for nothing, but the fellas tend to do the things that the ladies don't want to do. How many chicks are out there? Oh, it's equal, we're the same. Yeah, how many chicks are riding down the road in a cesspool fucking pump? That are out there with the gloves, right, smelling like shit, and they're leaning over, they're pulling off the big top, and they're looking down in there and they're shoving the pipe in there. How many chicks have you ever seen do that? Answer, none, ever, right? How many of the chicks are out there working in the road crew, filling in potholes? And I'm not talking about waving a flag, right? None, ever. I'm like, there's so many things that we're trying to find jobs, and then, God forbid, like even my ex-wife will complain sometimes because the lady up the block, she drives a bus. I'm like, what are you giving her a hard time for? She drives a bus, right? Well, she brings it here. Well, where else is she going to bring it when she needs, when she needs to go take a quick break or take a dump in her own house, right? Because they don't, last I looked, like school buses and regular buses, they don't have a dumper room, right? Even the cops used to have a little, remember the cops that used to have that little room they used to go into with the porta potty and everything inside they can go and take? I haven't seen those around. I don't think they have them anymore. They just go into Dunkin' Donuts now or whatever, right? Some coffee shop and splash all over some, they don't even get their own private place. A lot of them have to hold it. That's why a friend of mine retired. He had all kinds of hemorrhoids issues and everything from holding it. What a nightmare. I would not want to do that. Right. When I got to go. So let's go because it's getting late. We've already been doing. On that note, right, we've already been up here for an hour and 45 minutes. I could stay longer and shoot shit, but, I don't want to shoot all over everybody. So in case you guys got to go too, I got to go as well. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Another crazy evening of Saturday Night Live with the crazy person. And, I am who I am. I can't handle it. Or maybe you guys can't handle it either. I wake up every day and I'm the same person, me. Right? Remember last week I played that? Wait, hold on. I got to go out on that. Let's find it. Let me filter through it. Hold on. We got to go out on that. That's more important. I'm just going to filter. I don't have like the cut itself. It's a new year, but I'm the same old effing whatever he said it was. Hold on. We got to find that. All right? I'm just going to play the end. We got to scroll through it. All right. That guy was cool. The black dude. That was great too. With the white chick and the black chick. Right? That was so cool. Where is it? I think it's here. Hold on, we're gonna rifle through it. Let me shut me up. Let's see. Yeah, it's towards the end. Now, how do I do that? Wait. Let's see if I can move it forward. This is cool, though. The whole thing is cool. Can I move it forward? I don't know if I can. Why don't I just let the whole thing run?
Mama? Oh my God.
That's what my cat looks like.
Mama?
My Missy.
Mama?
Yeah, just like that too. She squeaks.
Mama? Oh my God.
I know. It's too much. Okay. Militant? Much?
Huh?
Ever wonder what the cream in an Oreo cookie is actually made of?
I can't move it forward.
Better sit down for this one. That cream isn't cream at all. It's rapeseed oil mixed with emulsifiers.
Yeah, I can move it forward.
Emulsifiers are
Wait.
used to glue oil and
Yeah, let's move it forward to here. There it is. I found the knob. Here it is. There we go. Hold on. Let me move it forward a little bit. Yeah, let's back it up a little bit. Hold on. Right about. There we go. Yeah. There it is, fellas. Dial it up. See you guys later.
It's a new year.
Yeah.
I'm the same motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's a new year. I'm the same motherfucker. Everybody wanna be brand new. Not me, I'ma do what I do. Ain't changing shit but the year I'm in. Same dope ass nigga I always been. I might change my clothes. I might change my home. But as for me, I'm the same fly ass motherfucker that y'all know.
Oh, I love it. That's me. Same fly ass motherfucker. Dilly dilly.